Hello and welcome to a new video with a new Python framework. Today's framework is Pyramid. Now, for some reason I love Pyramid, not only because I was born in Egypt, but because this framework is truly amazing. It's not monolithic like Django, and also it's not very simple like Flask, so it's something in the middle. And they have different slogans. So you see here, start small, finish big, stay finished. Also by artisans, for artisans. The Pyramid guys essentially said that this framework makes it easy to write web application, and then you can start small with simple hello world, minimal request response kind of web app, and this may take you far, especially while learning. And as your application grows, you hear finish big, so as your application grows, Pyramid offers many features that make writing complex software take less effort. Pyramid also works in all supported versions of Python 2 and Python 3. So it was tested against Python 2.7, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, and the last version 3.9. Okay? And it's also known to run on all popular Unix-like systems like Linux, macOS, and of course Windows platforms. Alright, so projects with ambitions start small but finish big and must stay finished. You need a Python web framework that supports your decisions by artisans for artisans. Okay. This is a minimal hello world web application like we have seen in Flask or Django, Fast API. Pyramid makes it easy to write web applications. You can start small with this hello world minimal request response web app, and you can scale it up. And here we have a very important question. When do you need Pyramid? So the mega frameworks like Django, it's monolithic. It's a very opinionated framework. Django brings you all the tools essentially out of the box equipments like databases. You have SQL-like database. Just you write your models, you make migrations, you migrate, and Django takes care of the rest. You have your database set. You don't do anything. You don't write one SQL code. Also, you have a helper in Django like the admin site. In contrast to micro frameworks like Flask, for example. And Pyramid is considered to be a micro framework, by the way. So micro frameworks force no decisions. Indeed, like we have seen in Flask, you do everything manually, and when your application grows, you're on your own. You do everything by yourself. So you need to set everything from database to views to configuration, everything you do it manually in micro frameworks. But Pyramid is different because it says here that the focus is on the start, either too much or too little. Okay? You need a finished, focused framework with an architectural design that scales down to getting started, then up as your application grows. Full-stack frameworks provide built-in value by telling you what to do, but doing something different or using something better leads to the dreaded fighting the framework, and this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes you don't like some things in Django, you want to change them, but you don't have the choice. Also, I want to talk about the templating language. In Django, if you remember, we had the Django template language. So in Django, we had this ASCII interface, the Asynchronous Server Gateway interface. And what it is just the interface between your web application and the server. In contrast to Flask, we had the WSGI, and WSGI is the Web Server Gateway interface, and it's the old version of ASCII. And WSGI was working with a toolkit called WorksWig, if you remember. Pyramid is a WSGI. It's not asynchronous. We cannot work with codes like async await. We don't have that. In Fast API, we have asynchronous functions, so we can use async await. Also, if you remember, in Django, we had the Django template language. In Flask, we had Jinja. In Pyramid, we don't have only one templating engine, but we have three. We have Chameleon, Jinja 2, and Mako. You're not forced to use any of these. You can just simply include in the configurator, and I will show you that later. You can include Chameleon, Jinja 2, or Mako, but you will need to pip install them first. All right. Several form systems covering most of the common design. Pyramid also supports SQL DBMS like SQL Alchemy and others. All right. Okay. All right. So this is in general. Here you can see some features by having these code snippets. All right. Function decorators, and I will show you some examples of these. You can also follow them on Twitter. They have 1,780 followers. We can also check out documentation. And let me show you GitHub, the source code. So you can see here that Pylons, which is the project's name, it's composed of a group of project leaders with experience going back to the very start of Python web frameworks. It has 3.5k stars, okay, and it's growing by the day, and it has 279 contributors. It's not big, it's not small, it's just, it's growing. It's not a very old framework, and I'm sure that this framework will have great future. So feel free to check out this repo. I will leave the link to that below, or you can check out the documentation on Pyramid official website. All right, cool. So now let me show you how to write our first web app in Pyramid. So I will create a folder. I will call it Pyramid Sandbox. Okay, I will open that with VS Code. And before we'll do anything, let's install Pyramid. Okay, so pip install Pyramid version 1.10.5. Alright, I have it already installed, so you see a requirement already satisfied. So let's clear that. And I will create here a folder. I will call it one func decorator. Okay, this is the first thing that I want to show you, decorators. I'll have app1.py. Okay, let me just increase the font. Okay, I hope it's clear for you guys. All right, so we said that Pyramid is WSGI, Web Server Gateway Interface, which is the main interface between the server and our web application. So we will need to import from WSGI ref dot simple server. What we will import, make server method. Okay, this method creates a server. Also, we need from pyramid.config to import the configurator, which is our main player in setting the routes, the views, and everything. And the last thing we need from pyramid.response to import response. And this is important because this is the response for the request essentially. Then I want to create a function. I will call it hello_world, and it takes a request, get, post, or any other request, and we want to return response. Notice that we don't have route decorator like in Flask. So let's say hello world. The last thing we need to do is we need to say if name equal to main with configurator as config. Okay, what I want to do, the first thing I want is to determine the route, the slash like in Flask or Django. So I will say config.add route, and it takes two parameters, the name of the route, which is, you can say hello for simplicity, and the route itself, which is just a slash. So this is one thing. Next, I want to add a view, so config.add view, and this takes two parameters. First is the name of the function, which is hello world, and the route name, route name, which is equal to hello. And the last thing, I want to create an app object. So config.make underscore WSGI underscore app. This app object, I will use it in the server. So let's create a server object now. make server, which we have imported above. And here I have three different parameters: a host, a port, and the main app. The host will be 0000. The default port for Pyramid is 6543, and the app, which is the app object. And the last line we'll need is we need to trigger or run the server. So server dot a method called serve forever. And this is basically it. Now to run the app, we need to enter inside our main directory cd1 func underscore decorator. And the way we run the app is the same as we run any Python file. So python app1.py. At first, when I started to work with Pyramid, I didn't understand, is there an error? Because no response, nothing. In Flask or Django, FastAPI, or any other framework gives you messages like the server started, listening on the local host, on port, whatever. Here, nothing. And I thought it's an error, but no, this is the way Pyramid works. So let's go ahead and open the browser. And we'll check the local host, port 6543. And we get hello world. Okay. And if we will inspect the web page, in the elements, we see that we don't have doc type or language settings or anything. Because essentially it's not an HTML page, right? So let me show you another example. Let's close this one, and I will create a folder. We'll call it to renderers. And in this example, I will show you how to render JSON from a Python dictionary. So let's create app2.py, and also I want to import the first two, so they are the same. And the third package that I want to import is the view config. So from pyramid.view, I want to import view underscore config. Now I will use a decorator, and the decorator will come under the name of view config. So add view config, and I need two variables in that tuple, a route name and a render, what we want to render. So the route name and the render is equal to JSON. Okay, because I want to serialize from Python dictionary to JSON data. And if you see here, it's giving me an error because, like in Flask, a decorator should be followed by the function. So once I will type the function, the error message will disappear. So I will call the function home. It takes a request, and we want to return A to 1 and B to 2. And let's take from the other file the same block. We'll copy that, and we will need to make some modifications. So I don't need that anymore because I don't have a hello world function. The home and the route are the same, and I want the config to scan, and the make whiskey app method will be the same server, same port, and the application is called app. The app is equal to app, and running the server. Okay. And also I will need to change the route name because it's home, not hello. All right. And we're good to go. So let's give that a try. Let's enter the folder to renders python app2.py. Okay, no messages or anything, but don't worry, it should be working. Unless it didn't give you any error messages, then you're fine. Local host port 6543, and we get our JSON data. And just to show you the difference, if we will change here, you know that JSON data is always in double quotes. So the dictionary can accept both double quote and single quote. So if I will make like that, and I will stop the server and I will run that again. All right. app.py, and I will refresh here. It will be the same, which means that, just to make some distinction between the dictionary, the Python dictionary, and the JSON data. The last thing that I wanted to show you is HTML template. So we'll call that assets app3.py. All right, so I will take from here the same 3 lines. Now let's create view config decorator, and we need a route name and renderer. So renderer will be equal to the name of the folder. By the way, we didn't create it yet, so it would be called templates, and inside home.jinja2. Okay, so inside assets, let me create a folder. We'll call it templates, and inside templates I will create a file. We'll call it home.jinja2. Okay, but I want to follow that by a function. We'll call it home request. I want to return dictionary, and it will take 2 key value pairs. So the first I will call it greet, and the greet will be equal to welcome. Let me actually put this in single quotes. All right. And the second key value pair is the name, is set to toot uncommon. All right, but we will not return them in the form of JSON. We will plug these inside the Jinja2 template, and we'll do the same thing like we have been doing in Django or Flask. Name equal to main with configurator as config. I want the config to include, so in this case I want pyramid underscore Jinja2. The next line is very important. Recall in the Django framework when we had to add CSS or images, we needed to say load static file, and we needed to change in the settings file. Also, we made some configuration changes in the URLs file inside the main project folder. This line will do the same thing. That's why it's very convenient and easy to work with Pyramid. We'll say config.add underscore static underscore view. Add static view. And we need 2 parameters, the name, which will be set to static, and the path, which will be also set to static. The path means the folder. I will need to create a folder, so let's create that quickly, static. And here you can put images, CSS files, JavaScript files, as you like. Style.css, all right. Also, let me grab a picture of Tutankhamun. I will put it here. All right, close that for the moment, or tell you what, let's write it quickly. So let's have margin set to 0, padding to 0, box sizing, border box, all right. And I want the background color to be equal to, okay, antique white. Let's make it, I don't know, something visible. Yeah, okay. This one, and color, let's make it red. Okay, and let's change the font family. Lato, we don't have Lato here. Let's have sans serif. Right, serif. So this is the style.css. We're done with it. Next thing, I want the route. So config.add route, and this we have seen in the two other examples. And here I want home, the name of the route. All right. Not home, but hello. Okay, hello. And the route. So just you can say it like this, or you can type welcome. And I want to scan. And I want app object. Let me actually grab this from here, because they are essentially the same lines. And that's it. The only thing that's remaining is to write the home.jinja2. Doc type HTML. We want the language HTML. Lang is set to English. Okay. Close that. Then we need a head. Close the head. And in the title, here I will plug my variables, the greet and the name. Okay, the greet and the name. So we'll plug them here inside double curly braces. Say greet, name, make like that. So as you would do in HTML, link rel equal to style sheet. Okay, horizontal ref or href is equal to the path, which is static folder, goes to style.css file. We'll close that / and bracket. And here also I want to greet, and we'll say name. So like you would do again in your HTML file, image source goes to static folder .png, and let me give it styling. So style will be equal to width, and the width, let's give it 170 pixels. And let's close the HTML. The last thing that I want to show you before we run our application, that something called debug toolbar. So let's go quickly to Pyramid. In the documentation file, and I will leave the link to that below, you will find everything about the debug toolbar, which provides a useful debug toolbar while you're developing a Pyramid application. It will be just a red box on the right side. So you will need to install it via pip install pyramid_debug toolbar. So let's take that. And this is the setup configuration. So we'll make like that. Let's actually go to the terminal real quick to show you. You'll install that. And once that installed, we will need to take Pyramid debug toolbar in consideration inside the config. So minimize this. We'll go here. We'll paste that here. So this is the Pyramid debug toolbar. Okay. And does it say anything else? No, nothing. This is a second way that you can include it, but we'll just work with this one. So what's that here? I need to stop that first. All right. So cd 3 assets and Python app.py, app3.py. Okay, kind of suck that doesn't show you if everything's working okay. In Django or Flask, if there is any error, it will show you immediately. So we'll type localhost 6543, and we have an error. Template not found. Template not found. Oh, I mistyped that. Templates. All right. I didn't understand what's templates. All right. Let's actually stop it and let's close that. Let's open the terminal again. All right. And let's type localhost 6543 / and there it is. the CSS and the picture are rendered, and I'm pretty sure if we will add JavaScript file, it will be, we can work with it as well. This is the debug toolbar. You can click on that to show you the responses on your requests, that everything is okay. If you have page not found or internal error. Templates home.jinja2, render name. The rendering value, greet welcome, name Tutankhamun, and system values. Alright, so this was a quick video on how Pyramid works. It's an awesome framework. Again, the guys at Pyramid, they did a tremendous job writing this beautiful documentation for anyone can read and understand very easily. Alright, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked the video, and I will see you in the next videos.